It's like,
Oh, is there a
we
kick
can't
channel
even
for
put a
it?
destroyer in the straight. The straight is
embedded
so
in the
narrow.
Bible.
It means
Yo.
it's
It's
basically
embedded
impossible.
in
Yeah,
Ishmael.
Submarines can't get in
Dude.
there either.
Right. And so you basically can't miss. If an Iranian is launching a drone or a missile at
Oh,
a
this is
ship,
a hard
you
choice,
literally
honestly,
can't miss.
dude.
The ships are too slow. The strait is too narrow and shallow. We can't even get in there. Karg Island is, I think, 12 square kilometers. It's tiny. And you have to know the Iranians would anticipate this. So you start landing some Marines on there, it's going to get
They
ugly.
talk about the Marines getting them on the MEUs. I was like, this is a suicide mission if he actually does this.
Okay, yeah, there's
Like,
1,000
what's going
views
on, dude?
here,
Either go
1,000
out,
views
say goodbye.
here.
You know, and then the other thing too,
Okay,
like I
that
was trying to
makes more
explain this, I was
sense.
like, the only cards they really had left, realistically, was destroying energy infrastructure or a nuclear bomb. That's really all you had left. And if you do either of those, say goodbye to the Gulf states.
Cheese
Yeah, like
chomper. The thing is, you can't be like. There's like an information theory thing where it's like, I'll do it again. It's good to know if I remember it or not properly. Or basically, once this loads, a satellite, right? Like a broad. Yo, thank you.
Upshot sent $5 throwback.
Stiffy, come real sticky, finna dick me,
Nice.
booty hole 50 cops.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?
Gang, gang. Pop my booty like a willy, nigga. I'm for really,
Yeah, we're
nigga,
low-key
in
over
the
Nick. We watch
bed with
Beardson
them
now.
booty killers and the booty niggas. We wake up taking booty pictures, sending nudies, nigga. Yo, straight dude, you a losing, nigga. Fuck me smoothing, nigga. Fucking poop straight on my nigga dick on the low. He only want for my dickhead.
Nice. So anyway, when you're sending signals out, satellite related, you send actually the same signal out across a band of information. You don't send just one signal out. You essentially send out multiple copies of the same signal, with the assumption that like bits of the information will be actually like lost for different streams of like whatever signal. And through that, right, because it's, if you only send one, then people would get like misinformation. If you send a bunch of the same signal over and over again, even though people miss different points, eventually, if they get enough streams of information, it comes to form one full stream of information, right? And being an effective communicator is really honestly like repeating yourself a trillion times. And if you do it a trillion times, then it's like, yeah, people will miss this part, they miss this part, they miss this part, they miss this part, they miss this part. But you've done it so many different times that it comes to form the thing. Unfortunately, what that means is you can't really have too complex. The more complex it is, the more you repeat yourself, and the more likely you're still going to be missed. So it's like it's not really a low IQ thing. It's kind of actually a good communication thing. Is being restrained, and the more complex you get, the more niche you are, because it's like you can't actually, communicate very complex ideas to large audiences. It's like Nick's success is actually a function of being very specific and very repetitive. Like you have to, like it's not like it's not like he's bad and he lucked into success. It's like his success is directly related to being able to repeat the same thing over and over again.
Those protesters in Iran, it wasn't really a spontaneous demonstration. Where were the protests occurring? It was all in Western Iran, where it's all the Kurds.
Now, does that mean I want to watch it necessarily? Maybe not. Maybe I'm tuckered out. Maybe I like variety,
I'm as prophesied in the Torah according to you, Richard, and he's a wild dog.
Let you be a hater? Well, I don't like to diss Nick,
It means that he will live in the wilderness like Ephraim is called a wild donkey of a man, and Issachar in Genesis chapter 49 is called a wild donkey of a man. But he's an Israelite. Are they being demeaned? Are the Israelites being demeaned when they're called a wild donkey of a man?
Some Israelite tribes do get demeaned, yes.
No, I said Issachar in Genesis 49 when the blessings are given.
Right.
Is Jacob demeaning his son?
Not Judah.
Dude, it's like literally like you can be as whatever and like libtard as you want. Like doing one of these, it's like there's no way in Richard Spencer just you don't go WN 1.0 You don't go white nationalist 1.0 like Stormfront mode mentally doing this type of argument with somebody, dude.
Look. With all due respect, this is an insult to my intelligence because all I do is study this stuff. Like you're
Well,
reading Hebrew. You're reading Hebrew idioms.
You know, information is not
understanding them.
knowledge, and it's definitely not wisdom. And
Well, yeah, that's clear.
Look,
That's clear.
in Jacob's blessing at the end of Genesis, clearly Judah is the namesake of the religion of Judaism.
Judah is
So
just
he
the
is
leading tribe.
obviously the primary one.
Oh, he's the
Now-
leading tribe.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah, how does that make a subject demeaned? Exactly. I don't
When I
understand
say demeaned, I am not saying that the Bible says you're scum, you're nothing. What I am saying is that they are of a secondary or tertiary rank to the primary line, from which David will be descended.
it. Rank in virtue? Or rank in
in
authority?
virtue?
Rank has
I
different
think
respects.
Judah has more authority than his brothers.
I
think he has more
agree.
authority
Judah-
than
Yes,
Dan
Judah,
and others. Yeah.
Yes, Judah has authority. How does that mean that the other tribes are any less in
I do
virtue?
well, yes. I mean, I simply do think that they are lesser than Judah. Judah is the namesake of
In
Judaism.
virtue.
It is the primary tribe.
In virtue, brother.
Well, this is we're just playing word games.
So-
Sneako just
it's
sits
not-
there
it's not
looking
word
pretty.
games. You're not
mean looking
being
beautiful.
articulate. When
Women
you
look
say
pretty.
somebody is demeaned or
Men can
lesser
look beautiful
than,
too.
I
Well,
need
men
to
can't look
understand what
pretty.
that means.
Why don't I
because-
use the word demoted as opposed to demeaned if demeaned
if
bothers you?
in
Demoted.
authority?
Can we agree on that so we can kind of move?
In authority, not
Sneako's a good
everybody's gonna be the
moderator.
leader. Somebody's
Looking
got
at
to
his
be the
phone.
leader. So yeah, sure.
I agree. So he's
Somebody's
demoted.
a leader and somebody's not a leader. That's fine.
Yes. Yeah.
So- but-
Okay.
but
That's
but
what
remember-
I mean.
remember,
So
we
we can
keep-
agree. Okay.
But we keep coming back to this biblical stuff. I want to
Yeah, honestly, that's the thing.
that's-
Is like
listen, I don't know-
arguing with retards. It's like you might be really smart, but it actually shows you're dumb. Like that's the main problem. Is like giving your time over to retarded people. It's like it doesn't matter how smart you are if you're caught up by retarded people. How retarded are you? You know.
Right. I mean, we're focusing on criticism of the Abrahamic traditions, and from out of that, we're developing a
Retards always win.
rejuvenated-
Yeah, until citizen vigilante moments, retards win just by virtue of nobody's allowed to do anything to them.
Aryan civilization, which is the Roman Empire, a god of a son, the real son of God, son of Zeus, and we want
Ooh.
to return our civilization to this type of central worship of Apollo.
who's our
Europeans, Aryans, whatever.
what satisfies an Aryan?
Not you, dude.
It's a good question.
Not
It's sort of
you,
a
bro.
linguistic
I know one person who
concept
doesn't.
in many ways. But I think it implies a racial concept that we can just use the word white for. But
Well,
that would-
Irish
they're,
white.
obviously they're
That's 'cause-
Aryans in
oh.
the Indian
that's-
peninsula, and they're so on.
That's tautological. I'm asking
mean?
you what's in it. Oh, you're just repeating the thing twice. I'm asking what satisfies whiteness. What is that?
Well,
Dude.
just to repeat myself, one of the best ways to understand what an Aryan is
That's
one of the ways
tautological,
that we
mate.
can scientifically is through linguistic analysis. There's an Indo-European language.
You laughed at me when I
family.
asked if Brent was
stretches
high.
well
Now
beyond
this,
Europe.
who are you calling a retard,
okay.
big
That is-
guy?
Now,
That's a good point,
that
Big Blanco.
implies
That's a good point, dude.
a
You're actually right.
race, if you will.
Okay.
Now,
Unbe-
it's tricky,
Unrelated,
and
I've decided to just agree with people, even when they're retarded, rather than argue with them. I got to get back to that. We got to get back to that, like not arguing with people and just even if they're retarded, just agreeing with them.
And if we want to use the word European or white,
Yo,
just because it's
let's watch Goyim
easier
TV.
to converse, we
Double
can.
fucking
Although
Okay, so
grammar,
are-
dude.
Not the best.
So gypsies and Roma would be included in that, right?
No.
Oh,
They certainly
what?
don't speak an
They're-
Indo-European language, and
They are
Yeah.
of Indo-European heritage, are they not?
no.
Yes, they are. What are you talking about?
Well, just because they were in a land where I guess we can connect it with Sanskrit doesn't mean that they're Indo-European.
So how does that? Okay, so now you've
I mean,
lost.
there
me.
are
That's
there are
completely
African Americans who speak
20
English,
billion burgers
and that's
to
the only
Richard's Big
language they
Belly.
know. But I
Just-
wouldn't
just-
call them Aryan.
Okay, so 1 second. You just said they're not Indo-European. They are. They do speak an Indo-European language. Okay. Now,
Bro's about to
why
ask
are they
Grok.
not included in your white race? Because they originate thousands of years ago from a different land. Well, guess what? Europeans originate thousands of years ago from different land.
They're
Grok,
to
explain
the
to me.
degree that they speak an Indo-European language, it's one that they inherited. As I said, African
Inherited?
Americans speak English.
All right, what does that mean, inherited?
They're not part of the conquering Aryans who
Why?
entered the.
That's question begging. Why? That's circular. They're just as Indo-European as anybody else.
Look, okay, you can actually trace history through language.
Okay.
And it's a remarkable thing. You know the word rex, Latin for king? You've probably heard that.
Yes.
Right? Regnum, regime, Reich. There's also word Raj in Hindi. So you can look at these cognates and trace them back to a Proto-European language that implies migrations and splitting.
The Europeans
So
didn't
we
migrate?
can use language to infer history. It's blurry, it's complicated, but you can do it.
And all Europeans, they're a different tribe, Germanic and Anglophone and all that stuff. They all migrated from somewhere, right?
Right. There is an implied original Aryan homeland. Yes.
Oh, what's that original homeland?
We don't know, but
Oh, you
it
don't
might
know.
be in
How do you know the
Eurasia.
Gypsies?
It might be actually in.
How do you know the Gypsies don't come from it?
Well, again, I'm gonna let me just look up. I'm just curious if they actually speak an Indo-European language. Now,
Go ahead.
that doesn't.
Bro's about to
negate
take
my
an L.
point.
Uh-oh. Bro's about to take an L. Richard Spencer versus FaZe Apex. Say goodbye.
But what I'm saying is that
we weren't prepared. Islam wins again, dude. Power of Allah, bro. Yeah. Muslims blew up the stream. They won, dude.
But yes.
Are they
certainly Indo-European? Yes.
Okay, and why are the Gypsies not Aryan?
Just because a people begins to speak an Indo-European language does not mean that they are from that originating tribe. Would you say that African Americans are white because they speak English?
Well, I'm using your own standard. That actually
a non-rhetorical question. Would you consider Africans Americans white because they speak English?
Oh, because whiteness has nothing to do with language in my view. That's your view.
Yeah, well, if you can...
That's your view, not mine.
Yes, I agree that race and language are independent. I could go travel to China and my sons and daughters will learn Mandarin and they'll never know English. But I don't think you would consider them Chinese either. So yes, language and biology, two separate things.
Right.
The
So that's why I'm
difference
asking what
is that
satisfies whiteness.
you can trace these things.
Did
you can trace
he get proven right?
biological movements through language because it implies an original people splitting.
So what's the argument
and
here?
Engaging in migration or conquest of other tribes.
Yo, tap me in, Richard. Let me own this guy.
Yes. Can we be totally certain about these things? Of course not. Can we engage in informed speculation up to the point of absolute certainty? Yes.
Again, you keep begging the question. Can you demonstrate that Gypsies are not Aryan, that they don't come from this
Yeah, dude, they steal like scrap metal, dude.
Aryan homeland and cultural identity? Can you demonstrate that? Because they have all the characteristics. They're European, they are Indo-European.
Because they migrate around Europe?
Everybody migrated. Dude, Everybody. The Germanic tribes did. The English
Yes.
tribes did. The French. Everybody did. So they did just like everybody else. So now, please demonstrate that gypsies are not white.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'd have to say gypsies are part of your.
Yeah,
little
Romani is
hypothetical-
okay. Interesting. Romani is an Indo-European language. Very
Yeah.
interesting. So
Boom.
Are they white?
Boom.
I've said, just to reiterate,
Dude, it's over. Triple
language,
fucking cheeseburgers in the air.
biology are not the same thing.
Quadruple burgers in the stomach.
Yeah. However, we can see how language implies biological migrations through the study of cognates. So
Okay.
the fact that a people like the Roma or like who speak a Indo-European language, Romani is Indo-European, you're correct, or African Americans speak English, we simply have to make a distinction that they are not members of the original
make it.
Indo-European or Aryan people who brought these languages to other lands.
Well, demonstrate it. Why are they not white?
I just did.
All you
like,
did is just
Do you
assume
think
your
the language moves without people? Like
Lord, how-
language
you
just like
just-
on its
you
own,
just-
the letters
brother,
hop
let
around
me-
and move
let me-
somewhere?
let me
Obviously,
still-
people carry the language.
All right, and why are the Gypsy and Roma not European? Why? And how do you
If you want to
demonstrate?
call the Gypsy and Roma Indo-European because they
No, no,
speak
just let me
Romani,
finish.
you
Let me finish.
can.
That's not what I said. I said, why are they not white? Because you gave this, arbitrary criteria for whiteness. They have to speak the certain, a language family. Their language has to fall within this family language class. They have to have a certain migration route. Okay, demonstrate how they don't fall within what satisfies whiteness.
I feel like I've answered this 3 times and I'm just
You haven't.
repeating myself.
That's okay. Well, you don't have to answer. Everybody knows
You
didn't
can
answer.
do genetic studies to also
Everybody knows you didn't answer.
determine migration and intermixture, etc.
I think a better
All of
question.
my-
Hold on. I think a better question would be to define whiteness specifically.
Claude says Romani is not your
Yeah,
language.
whiteness
Yo, Viscerin,
specifically.
why don't you follow me on
Sneako,
X,
he
dude?
said
I think I
whiteness
follow you on
is
X.
when you speak in
I
Indo-European.
specifically didn't
I mean,
say that, brother.
Can I hear the definition? I want to hear Richard's definition of whiteness.
Oh, but just before he does it, because it's important, because he switched it. When I first, you can go
No,
back and watch
I
the
s-
clip.
I
No,
said
never mind, I
3
follow you.
times.
Okay,
Dude, you're out of
Whites are
control, bro.
different. We can
You are
study
out of control.
Biological migration through language. It's very
Your
helpful.
Twitter is out of control,
I don't
dude.
think language equals race or race equals language.
you're-
Just
you're
to be
gonna-
clear.
I know.
I was thinking
That's what
somebody
you're
else.
saying now.
Somebody else like you
Play
No,
that
that's
posts
fine.
similar
Fine,
things.
just wait.
For the sake of the conversation, let's have a clear definition so we
He's
can
not.
move forward.
Yeah, so
How can
he's
we?
change it, but whatever. It's okay. Go ahead.
Yes. So a race is a subspecies of humankind.
What's up, Slytherin Mystic
There
Caleb? How you
are
doing?
Largely 3 major subspecies, but we can argue about the blurry borders and so on. You know it when you see it. I don't think there's any real question.
You're one of those
about
people, huh, Viscerin?
Who is
You're like a
Aryan,
Jeffy type.
European, white or not?
Good. Okay. Now he's saying something else. In the beginning, brother, and
Oh,
don't
yeah.
gaslight me. Okay, don't gaslight me, please, brother.
That is
'cause we
funny.
can
You're right.
watch
2
the
more
clip
weeks.
again.
Very ironic.
When I
Most
asked
people
you
will miss
what
the levels of debate going
satisfies
on here.
whiteness or what an Aryan is. You said, well, they have to fall under the specific family class Indo-European. That's what you said, brother. That's why we went into the Roma and the Gypsy, because they also speak
Why don't they say
Indo-European
like, oh,
language.
you can just tell? It's not that big a
Now,
deal.
you're saying,
You
I
know
oh,
it.
responded to this.
Okay, no, just let me finish. You didn't respond. You just begged the question. Now you're saying, okay, well, whiteness is something
Richard's
that's
hitting that grok.
self-evident.
Richard be on that
Something,
grok mode right
well,
now.
Humanity has split race into 3 main categories.
Richard be on that grok.
Caucasoid and whatever. And
When's the next
these
book
3 main,
dropping? I have to
category, and
publish It Is the
white
Suicide on
people are
Amazon.
just
I just haven't
self-evident
gotten
on-
around to it
Well, I actually don't
because I'm
accept
working
that
on the
premise
game
that
right now.
whiteness is self-evident. That's why I'm asking you, please give a definition that is exhaustive for what satisfies whiteness.
I'm not going to give an exhaustive definition. I'm going to try to give a basic definition so that we can move forward.
Why
a
not
race
exhaustive?
is a subspecies of humankind.
I ask you what whiteness is,
It's
not
a
what
large
race is.
breeding
Lord
pool,
have mercy.
and
Brother.
we can trace the outlines of the breeding pool. Language is very helpful. Language is not perfect, as I've said multiple times now. Like
Dude,
an
I didn't-
African American can speak
dude,
English.
I didn't ask
That does
you what
not make
race.
him into a European.
Dude, you're not listening. I didn't ask you what race is. I asked you what satisfies whiteness. I didn't ask what
Well,
race is.
I'm trying to define things objectively, not
Okay,
in terms
what
of
satisfies
satisfying
Dude, the
whiteness?
leather
whiteness.
chair is
That's another
crazy.
question.
I need a
No,
leather
that's
chair
what
like
I
that.
asked. What satisfies whiteness? That's what I've been asking.
My chair's kind of more
Um,
swag
I-
though.
I'm trying to define these things objectively. Like what is whiteness? It's a kind of a blurrier question.
Lord have mercy, brother. You believe
Listen,
that
the races are actually given to us in the Bible, and they are the sons of Noah.
now he believes in the Bible.
Japheth?
Now he believes in the Bible. Yo, come on, brother.
I
What are
don't
we
have to
doing?
believe that Yahweh is the creator of the universe to read the Bible
God.
and see what it is saying. What is the
Okay.
Bible telling us?
Yeah, that shirt's
about
kinda
the
crazy,
three
though.
sons
Richard
of
Spencer's shirt
Noah?
Okay, good.
Japheth,
By his belly
Shem, and
area, it's
Ham.
kind of crazy.
Good. So to be
Ham
white,
is going to be the ancestors of Africa.
That's a crazy physique he's hiding under there, dude.
Etc. Japheth is the ancestor of the Aryans, the Europeans, if you will.
Wow,
etc.
Jeffy, that's fucked up,
Shem
dude.
gives us the word Semite. Ultimately,
Big Billy
Shem
Spence.
is going to be that strand.
RFA should be up in that shirt.
Watch this, ladies and gentlemen, because you just dug a deep hole for yourself, Mr. Richard Spencer. In order for you to demonstrate what whiteness is, you had to resort to a biblical character in the time of Noah and say that to satisfy whiteness, you must be a descendant
Bruce
of such
got
person.
tricked. Bro got tricked.
Now, according to don't cut me off. According to the criteria you rejected the historicity of Christ for,
I took a
is
huge hole
Noah
for you,
and
Big
Japheth
Spence.
a historical person?
Big Richard.
No.
So then, what is whiteness if they are not historical persons?
Okay, first off, when you say satisfy the criteria of whiteness, I really don't understand what you're asking. I am trying to objectively describe what a race is, and I
I'm
tried
not
to do
asking
that.
what a race is. I'm asking what are the conditions that must exist such that somebody would be white?
They are part of this subspecies of humankind.
Dude, that's
Basically
begging the
speaking.
question. They're white because they're part of whiteness. What is whiteness?
It's a breeding pool. I mean, what satisfies being a moose? It's a species.
That's a good question. What satisfies being a dog or a moose or
Right.
certain characteristics.
What is a
that
woman?
must
I guess
exist.
we're asking. I mean, I agree that there's a little bit of a tautology there, but
I'm answering.
I really don't it's
What
we're
satisfies
talking
being a
categories,
chud?
so I don't really know how to
So,
satisfy.
brother, this is the problem I have with your ideology, brother.
So you don't think race exists?
No, that's not what I said, brother.
Okay,
I'm
asking.
Race exists.
Okay.
And there's this race that you believe in called white people,
Right.
Europeans. These people need to have their own ethno state. They need to self-preserve their cultural identity. They need to survive. This is what biology and evolutionism dictates, right? Survival and stuff like that. Okay, fine. You put this category as whiteness. The white race must persist and must survive and must have an ethno state and no immigrants and no mixing and so on and so forth. This is how we survive. Okay. I'm asking you now. I have two problems with this. The first problem is you are not actually able to tell me what satisfies whiteness in a way that is consistent with your view. Second issue is that even if you are able to give me an exhaustive, coherent criteria for what satisfies whiteness, the second issue would be is why would you focus on the category white instead of category tribe, family, religion, civilization? Why is it that what groups the people together is being white instead of being American, or instead of being Muslim, or instead of being from so-and-so tribe?
Well, they're
Why?
just different categories. I am a white American.
Okay,
I
and
I
what?
have two different categories.
Okay,
grew up in Texas and born in Massachusetts. Those are two more categories there.
And
a
your
bit of
view,
a Yankee, bit of a Texan, bit of a Southerner.
Bro's kind
I
of a
got it.
cowboy
These are
when you
just
think
different
about it.
categories.
I
They're not
understand.
Bro's pulling a Sneako.
mutually-
He's kind of a cowboy.
I understand.
Sneako
Just like
understood that.
white and
Sneako understood
non-white are
that right
different
there.
Categories. The problem is,
Well, no,
there
those are different terms in the same
no,
category.
No, there are different there are subcategories. That's what a subcategory is. There's a category
I see
race
what- okay, yes.
and a subcategory different races, right? Exactly. So now let me
Okay.
finish with my point. So just like you said, oh well, you know,
Yeah,
being American,
Bro's been eating
and
good,
being
though.
Southern, there's different categories. I agree, but here's the problem. Just like being American or being Roman or being Muslim or being Jewish is a different category. The issue is you prefer one over the other with no virtue. Why? Why should we prefer a white group instead of a Southern white group or an Irish white group or an Anglophone white group? Why?
Well, those are subcategories, but why do I prefer Aryans to other people? Because we're the
No,
best.
I'm
All right, he's
asking you
back.
Why
He's
your
back.
focus
We're the most
category
beautiful. We're the
is
most
whiteness
creative.
instead
We've
of
created the most effective, successful civilizations. That's why.
okay, and why can't, for example, Western Europeans say it is us who created
Where's
the most
the strongest
successful
Dude, come on,
nation.
bro.
Eastern Europeans need to go.
They could say that if they want to.
Oh, they could.
Well,
then-
they often
so then-
do.
Oh, okay, good. So then your ideology doesn't actually give us why we should prefer white race as a class instead of white Western
Look,
European as a class.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do think that there is a sort of call to blood. It's sort of like asking, why do you prefer your own children? Why are you lavishing your own children with gifts? You never give a penny to the neighbor's children. Well, yeah, is the answer to that. We are humans. We are inherently tribal and inherently based on blood and family, etc. And that is just a part of who we are. So I like Aryans. I am sort of in their debt. I'm part of their team, whatever metaphor you want to use, in a way that I am not for Chinese.
Only when they're not
And
Roma
that just
and Gypsy.
is what it is.
Right,
But
only-
I would say that
only if they're not
I
Roma and
also,
Gypsy,
to
right?
the degree that, I'll finish real quick. To the degree that I can step outside myself and put aside just pure blood loyalty, I would absolutely 100% say that Aryans are the greatest. We create the great art. We create science. We create civilizations that can flourish.
Let's stay on
period.
that. Let's stay on that, okay?
Yeah.
Now you didn't actually give me an answer to my critique, but I want to point out another issue. Remember, my critique was you believe it is virtuous that this class of European or Aryan people must stay together as one unified, cohesive group. They must have an ethno-state, right? They must cohabitate and live and survive and marry each other and keep their lineage going. Okay, you could hold that. My view against that is, why is that more virtuous than a European doing that with his specific tribe? We are Germanic. We are cohesive. We deserve a Germanic ethno-state. Why is your idea more virtuous than this idea?
I get it. I think it's in a way largely historical. I mean, I think people have been more ethnocentric in the way that you're referring to. They've been more tribal in the past. With the onset of communications and transportation, we are part of a bigger block in the way that we weren't. We sort of were 100 years ago, but in the way that we weren't certainly 250 years ago. I think there are also deep problems with ethno-nationalism, as you're putting it. We had
sorry, I didn't know the
wars that
camera's
were
on.
at the very
My bad.
least sparked by some sort of ethno-nationalism, and
Whoops.
those have
Didn't
been
realize.
the most catastrophic
Ethno-nationalism.
things ever.
Oh,
So I
sorry.
don't,
What do you mean? Sorry.
in terms of more virtuous,
on.
look, what is virtue?
Ethno-nationalism? Just wait 1 second. Ethno-national.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
An ethnicity. So I'm referring to an ethnicity as a kind of sub race. So you're not just European,
ethnicity.
You're German, but you're not.
Oh, I said Germanic.
Maybe not even.
This 31-year-old
German
is 12
is
years
a
old.
collection
I'm
of
kinda like a
different
Brian
Russian
Johnson type.
or something.
I said Germanic. Not
Okay,
German.
well, that's already pretty broad.
What's the
to be
difference?
honest.
Oh, and white isn't?
White is broad. I don't doubt
Oh, okay,
that. But I'm
good.
just saying,
Good. So
Germanic
broad-
is already quite
okay,
broad.
cool. So broadness is not an issue.
Right.
Why can't somebody prefer the existence and persistence
They can.
and the superior? Okay, so your view is not more virtuous than this view, right?
They absolutely can, but I also
Is your view
think
more
that
virtuous?
a smaller nation state is going to be
Brother,
gobbled up,
Is your
if
is
not
your view
crushed by larger blocks.
Is your-
Vis-a-vis a billion and a
we're
half
not-
Check
Chinese,
this out.
answering that.
Germany doesn't stand a chance.
Brother, is it more
With a
virtuous? was the
European
question.
Union, Germany does stand a chance. So
What's the question?
I have a political preference
Oof,
for large
That's
blocks.
nice.
Okay, so I asked you,
There it is.
is it
No
more
money for
virtuous
rent,
was the
but
question.
lots of money for little
What do you mean by virtue?
games.
Because
Is it better? Is there more
well,
benefit?
that
Going Beardson mode,
virtue,
dude.
okay, what is the word virtue? What is
It's
the
a
origin of the word
the
virtue?
Anbernic. It's an old
my
thing. I
God,
had it for
you're
a few
gonna- you're
years.
gonna-
Manliness.
So now
I just
so
play
now-
for-
so
I usually
now we're
play
gonna do,
Tetris.
what's his
Yeah,
name?
we're more
Tetris
manly.
time.
We can
What's his
kick
name?
While
So
we-
now-
while we
so
pay
now we're
attention.
playing
When we're-
semantics.
Well,
Now we're playing semantics. What does
I don't
virtue
want to. I
mean?
don't want to engage in
Like, what-
semantics.
I just
What
like
is
forget it.
virtue?
Semantics, but
It's one of those things that
hold
you
on.
have.
Why I mentioned that
It's one of
is
those things you
that-
have that you play with for like a few hours and then you completely forget about it for like a year and then you take it out again. You play for a few hours and you completely forget about it for another year. But it's comfy though. It's kind of nice. It's a good. You can play PlayStation 3 games on it. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo DS, Game Boy Color. It's honestly, when I got this, I understood Beardson. When I got this, I said, "Okay, I understand now. I understand now. This is what life's all about. Retro video games."
Bass around
Is
the
your-
globe
is
when
your
we are
view-
united
Spencer
as
and
Aryans.
Game Boy,
So
welcome
When
to the
we're
weekend.
united
So
as Germans, less
just
ass
preaching.
is being kicked.
You're preaching now. You're just
And
preaching
on
now,
some
brother.
level, that's all I care about, to be
Yeah,
frank.
you're just preaching. You're not actually dealing with. So my objection is it more morally excellent to unite as a white race instead of uniting as a white Germanic group?
Morality is gay. Like,
Morality
is
is
it?
gay?
Boom.
Lord have
Is it
mercy.
more
Morality is
moral?
gay.
Probably not. I mean, but morality is
Morality
not
is
something
gay.
morality in the sense of like Christian morality. Are we going to be like more pacifist or nice or whatever? I don't give a shit about any of those things.
Well,
Damn,
that
bro's
has-
I
going
want
off.
to be able to dominate
I-
other people.
and
So
who said-
we need
and-
to be united so that we can
Okay,
be
so
less
you've been-
moral.
Bro's
Hey, bro,
going
brother,
off.
You've been talking to too many J Dyers and evangelicals, brother. That's what's going on. There's
I
nothing.
don't talk to them that much. but
There's
yeah.
there's nothing in the word moral or moral excellence that implies pacifism.
There is
you
no
think
good and
Jesus
evil.
is
Fuck
morally
morality.
excellent?
Go.
Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. There's nothing about being
Bro, watch
morally
Citizen
excellent
Vigilante
that
once.
implies this Christian idea of being subservient and being a fruit cup and loving your neighbor, not loving your neighbor. Sorry, not hating your enemy and giving the other cheek. There's nothing that implies that. Okay, all that is fruit
You're
cup.
speaking
fruit
my
cup stuff.
language, brother. Islam
So you should,
sounds
so you
pretty
should become
cool.
a Muslim. So you should become a Muslim then.
Maybe.
And you go like,
So
oh,
do you have a problem
oh.
with this hypothetical white race practicing Sharia law, being Muslim?
Yes. First off, I grant that there are more manly virtues. It's a tautology in itself, redundancy. There are more manly virtues to Islam vis-a-vis Christianity taken as a philosophy. Now, have Christians engaged in colonialism, genocide, conquest? Of course they have, and in many times, not always, they've justified their desire for conquest through Christianity, and it's a great irony of history. But taken as philosophies, is Islam more badass than Christianity? Obviously, it is.
Okay,
But I don't want Aryans to adopt Abrahamism any
Why?
longer.
Why?
Well, because you're ultimately going to be subservient to Jewish ideas, Jewish scribes, etc.
That's a misunderstanding of Islam.
Okay.
Bro's just become Islamic.
There is nothing Jewish about Islam. Islam is the furthest from rabbinic Judaism. That the correlations only exist because there is a remnants of divine revelation. Not everything Jews believe in is wrong. There's just some things they believe in is true.
Sure.
And because it's true, we also believe it, because we believe in what is true. But Islam, do you agree, for example, that Islam has produced the most successful dominant empire known to mankind?
Maybe in terms of territory, I'll take your word for it. But in terms of developing civilization, I wouldn't agree.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
I don't think it holds a candle to the Roman Empire, but
Oh, okay. What about?
you can stick up for your people. I get it. You know.
No, I want to challenge that. What about the Roman civilization is more civil than the Islamic civilization?
I don't want to answer it in the terms of civility, but they took Greek culture and they created a sort of infrastructure that could support Greek culture. They took the gods of the Greeks. They took so much of the literature and ideas of the Greeks. They were a civilizing force in the sense that they developed infrastructure, armies, plumbing, political systems, etc., that could hold up that culture
and practice a lot of homosexuality, right?
Well, they did it.
You're not going to get Richard on that.
Look, societies go decadent. There's a lot of homosexuality practice in the Muslim world.
Oh, no, there isn't. There is not.
Well,
there
okay,
isn't, brother. Not in comparison to the West, brother. There's not. You can never make an experience and a comparison all throughout time. It is clear that European identity and culture, as long as it's been Christian, has actually been a failing civilization. Only when they moved away. Only when they moved away from Christianity.
You got me now.
In the Enlightenment period, they became economically successful. But
if Christendom is the Middle Ages, then I absolutely see that as a failing civilization. Like there are a lot of beautiful things about the Middle Ages. I don't want to totally defenestrate it, but in terms of literacy, social organization, hygiene, etc., it was a failing civilization. It was a dark period.
So you agree?
We started to pull ourselves out of it when we were rediscovering the ancients.
One sec, Richard.
Yes.
Do you agree? While Muslims were engaging in Aristotelian and Platonic philosophy and in medicine and in all kinds of sciences and building empires and schools and universities and hospitals, Europeans were not bathing for years on, living in shit in mud houses.
It's very good stuff. I mean, you were the Islamic Golden Age was a way of continuing the culture of the Greeks in a new form. And I think there's tons a lot to admire in Islam.
So it sounds like your hypothetical ethno country full of white people needs Islam, brother. That's what you need.
I wouldn't use. I don't think we're living in a Muslim golden age now, and I feel like that darkness of superstition that Europeans descended into after the fall of Rome, at least in the West, that is what is Muslim people have descended to as
Richard,
well.
What I'm asking is,
I don't think real quick, just to put a cherry on top, I don't think the answer to all of this is more Abrahamic religion.
Ooh.
I mean, I just we were truly Christian. We were 100% Christian at a point, at least after 1000 AD. And these are not times of greatness and enlightenment. We started to rediscover paganism, and we became great again. And again, faith
make paganism great again. We're straight up pagans, dude. I'm telling you guys, 2027, we're straight up pagan for no reason.
Breaking the chains of Abraham.
Just straight up.
for
Running around in the
the
woods
white
naked.
race.
Look, Richard, when
All
I
that
say
crap.
why doesn't your hypothetical white ethno state be Muslim, I'm not necessarily asking why aren't they Muslim, as in Islam being true, as it relates or as it corresponds to reality. I'm asking, what is your issue with your hypothetical white ethno state being pragmatic Muslims? Muslims that practice the law and the civil moral code of the Quran and the Sunnah.
If you are a practicing Muslim, you could exist within my hypothetical ethno state.
No, I'm saying
The-
why can't
Thank you.
why
Hold on,
can't
let me-
the white people be fully?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Because I don't think we will have a great empire without rediscovering Apolloism
Facts.
and
Apolloism?
Roman
Just straight up,
Olympian
dude.
worship.
Honestly,
Now,
just facts. You're
am
just speaking
I
facts.
a bigot who would want to prevent Muslims from engaging in their religion? No. But it would be
Bro's
subordinated.
Googling what
Roman religion
Apolloism
has
is.
a way of hierarchy and subordination that was actually quite successful, although it failed with Yahweh. New gods can enter the pantheon; they can be secondary. So
Anybody else
long
agree?
as it is Jupiterian
What is Apollo?
or Apollonian in this sense. Now,
Well,
the
that's-
problem with monotheist is that you believe there is only one and that is the only way. And so there's a sort of intolerance within the monotheistic mind that is not present actually in the pagan mind, where you can understand
We straight up
other
Apollo
and
and shit, bro.
other deities as expressions
was
of
Apollo and
peoples,
shit,
that is
bro.
ethnicities, as states, as ways of life, etc.
So Richard, what I'm asking is, forget about monotheism for a second, because
Okay.
that's to do with the theological aspect. Would you have a problem with your hypothetical white ethno state practicing Sharia law?
That should not be the public faith, and that won't be the state religion. no.
What's the problem you have with Sharia law?
Shit's
it-
cringe,
you're-
bro.
It's not so much the actual law. I'm sure there's plenty in Sharia law that would coincide with English common law. I don't want to get into these kinds of things.
Well, you
I
you
don't
just said you don't
like
prefer
a
it.
lot of.
You just said you don't prefer it. I want to know why.
We need to exit the Abrahamic
Matrix.
in order to establish
Yeah, I knew you'd say
this
Matrix.
world order.
We need to
Has
exit the
nothing to do with
Matrix.
being Abrahamic. This is just to do
but-
with the
but
laws.
Islam is.
No.
No, in
I'm-
terms
I'm
of Sharia
saying-
law, I don't like what I see when I see Sharia law. I don't
Okay, like
like
what?
the burqa.
That's what I'm asking. Like what?
I don't like the
burqa?
hijab. Yeah,
The what?
I don't like the hijab. I
The
don't
hijab.
like
Okay.
it.
Okay, good. Okay, so now that's
But
what I want
I'm
you to
sure.
say.
But that being said, I'll finish really quick. That being
Go.
said, I don't know enough about Sharia law, and I'm sure there's plenty of Sharia law that I would find totally reasonable. But I would
Okay,
just
good.
say, in terms of its most ostentatious effects, I don't like it.
Okay, so you don't like it when your wife covers up. You like when men look at her?
Oh,
Yes.
You want men to look at your wife?
There's a difference between men looking at your wife and men doing other things with your wife.
No, I said look.
I want to go back to an ancient world where we're just wearing togas and sandals, and you're just seeing
Okay.
cleavage and long legs.
So you want, so I just
everywhere.
want to confirm.
I do want to live like that. Yeah, I'm a
you
more
want-
sensual
Okay,
person.
so you want me to look at your wife's cleavage?
You can look at my wife's cleavage
bro.
so long as you're not doing some other things, brother. You
Brother.
understand? I mean, like,
Brother,
I'm
brother, I mean, look, if that's not cuckery, brother, I don't know what is. Brother, that is pure
that's
cuckery.
not
That is the opposite of the view you want us to hold to, that you're a strong man and survival of the fittest and you
yeah,
want to
we are
dominate
strong
the world.
man. We're self-confident. We're not
brother.
terrified of other
Yeah, so brother,
people
so
cucking
really,
us
I
unless we have
thought,
to dress
hey,
them
look,
up
to be honest, Richard,
in
I
trash
thought
bags.
Richard, I thought that you're a strong warrior, but it turns out that you're just a liberal, brother. You're a liberal. You think
Maybe.
you think your wife should walk
Did the
around
Romans
with her tits
put
out?
women in burqas?
They were wrong. They were cucks.
Okay, that's fair enough. We simply
They're
disagree,
cucks.
but my
That's the
position,
problem, brother.
I want to live in a
They're cucks.
sensual society where we're surrounded by hot people. And
Oh, you want
and
okay? You want me to think you want me to think your daughters are hot, for example?
you can think my daughters are hot, like so
All right.
long as you're not doing other things. And I don't want to even mention this because it grosses me
boy.
out. Yeah.
Oh boy. So okay. So what about that?
I think it's
is
beautiful.
manly?
I think it's beautiful
about that as
when
masculine?
look, there's a difference between being a vulgar slut and going around showing off your ass or whatever. There is a distinction between that and a beautiful young girl who is
Bruh.
conservative but sure a little sensual. And she
Alright,
looks
so-
pretty and
sorry.
wonderful.
So
There
what's
is a
the- what's-
distinction.
There's
There's a hard line, and
What's
you
the
know
difference?
where it is.
Difference? What's
There's
the
a difference between a slut and a young lady
Okay,
who
and
is
a young-
confident and
Bruh.
confident with their tits out and her ass out.
I just said that there is, and look, it is a line.
Richard
that
wants
you
to
know,
have
you know
sex.
it when you see
should
it.
She,
Wow.
Should she
There's a
cover?
difference between like erotic art and pornography, right? You know
Look,
it when you see it, right?
No. I think there's no difference. So
That's
look,
crazy.
No, it's not. It's not crazy. It's not, you're just looking at less extra skin, brother. That's
no,
it.
it's
There's no
it's
difference.
the
But
intention.
look, this is what I'm.
It's the
it's not-
intent. No, hold
it's
on.
not-
It's the intention in the
brother,
filmmaker.
It's not just the intention.
It is
brother.
an
It's about-
intention that you can
it's not-
discern.
Richard,
There's a
it's not-
filmmaker. Well, I'm
Richard,
going to
just go.
finish real quick. So I don't
Okay,
want to
finish.
interrupt. Look, there's a
Sure.
filmmaker that
Finish,
can
go ahead.
show a beautiful woman running through a field or jumping into the ocean.
A wheat
and
field.
it's sensual and it's wonderful. The intention of a pornographer is to most likely degrade sexuality or at the very least depict it in a graphic, vulgar form. There just is a difference between being fun and being a skank. There's a
Well-
total difference, and you know it when
well,
you see it.
So Richard,
Yes.
what I asked you is it okay for a woman to walk around with her breast out and with her other parts, special parts out? Is that okay, or should she
You mean
cover up?
unclothed breast and vagina even
No,
unclothed?
not fully unclothed.
Okay.
Unclothed
What
enough.
type of-
Is that
like
okay?
a
Do you
weird
think
Friday,
that's
like,
fine and
get
acceptable in
together?
society?
Weird conversation having like
Yes,
a Friday
in the
night, just
sense
hanging out with your
of-
friends.
And you see the female form and is it sensual? Yes, I do think that is fine. I want to live in a society
Boom.
where yes,
I got
women
you.
are free to act like that. Correct.
I got you. Now, why can't somebody say, I want to
Call me a
live in a
libtard if you must.
So why can't somebody say, because look, the response you're gonna give me here is gonna work against you. Why can't somebody say, well, why we want to live in a free society where women can just walk out commando? What's the problem with that?
I mean, just to reiterate, I've said this twice now. I mean, there
Tell me
is a
what's the
line
problem
between
with that?
total vulgarity and sensuality.
I'm not asking about the
and
intention.
You know it when you see it.
Brother, I'm not asking about the intention, brother. What she intends, she wants to be a whore. That's not what I'm asking.
Would I see?
asking-
Is there a difference between cleavage
Richard.
and full breast?
No, Richard,
Of
you're not-
course
you're not-
there is.
You're not understanding, Richard. What are the societal effects in case A and case B?
Could you just tell me what A and B are again?
A woman walks around with her cleavage out enough that it, enlight or put desire and
Rouse.
lust
Yes.
in another man who's looking for her
I get
at
it.
her. She's not fully unclothed, but it's enough to kind of spark that in a man who looks, right?
Yes.
And then a woman that's fully commando, fully unclothed. The societal effects
Amanda.
in point A, in example A and example B. What is the difference? Why is
I think
one
there is
societally
a
better than
really
the other?
big difference.
Okay, tell me. What are the societal
A
benefits of A
woman,
and B?
a woman that's wearing shorts and you can see some legs or a skirt or so on. It's sensual and it inspires desire. I agree, and it makes life fun, for lack of a better word. A woman full commando, it's simply demeaning,
It
and
makes
it's
life
actually it's overly sexual,
Oh,
maybe even
good.
depressing.
good.
We
the
we can have
meaning-
discernment
One
and have
sec,
difference.
Richard.
Yeah.
According to whom is it overly sexual? And
According
according,
to
to
me.
whom? According to you. So
Well,
you
yeah,
don't
but
think
we're talking
okay,
about preference here.
okay,
So,
okay, good. So Richard, you don't
hey,
think
can we agree on this?
just one
Fat
second.
women
I'm just
be
finishing.
in burqas.
Come on,
Sorry,
brother.
I was
That's
just,
not. Come on, brother. You
I
gotta,
was just joking.
Yeah, but anyways, look. You agree
Showing
then?
too much belly.
You agree then that your positions and worldviews are not stance independently true.
Yeah, because I'm not a monotheistic extremist who
don't have to be
thinks that
monotheistic.
if I see a little leg that I'm going to go rape this woman or something, or I
so-
can't control myself.
So
I
if-
have
if-
discernment and taste. Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So if that's how you want to talk, then we're not liberal cuckolds who want their women and their wives to be stared at by random men. But if you want to throw shots like that, I certainly can, brother. But you don't have to say, "Oh, extremist," so sees a leg and says, "I'm gonna go rape." So
Well,
that
you
just
seem
tells me.
to,
that
one
just
thing
tells
that I've
me-
noticed
that
with
just
some
tells me-
religious
so
fundamentalists,
if
it
you-
seems
if
to
you
be
wanna say-
all or nothing.
No, it's not
It's
all
like-
or nothing. It's not
Well,
all
it
or
does
nothing.
seem to be all or
It's not-
nothing. You
it's
made
not-
no distinction between
it's
showing
not-
a little
it's
leg
not-
and
I didn't-
being fully commanded.
I said there's no distinction societally, not an intention. Yes, a woman can have the intention of being a straight whore and dress a certain way. Another can think, oh yeah, this is
a
honest for
woman can
me.
be a whore and wear a burqa.
That's not. That's fine. Oh, yeah, of course. But we're not
Right.
talking about that. We're not talking about intention. We're talking about the societal effect. Because you're trying to produce this great empire society. White people dominate. We're manly.
I think the
and good for
societal
survival.
effects of putting
Richard, just let me
women
finish,
in
brother.
full burqas is
Just let me-
terrible.
Just let me finish. I know you think it's terrible because you're a cock, brother. That's it.
Well-
you want other women to be naked. You want your woman to be naked. And don't cry now because you implied that I'm an extremist who looks at a naked leg and says you said that first, brother. So let's not play that game.
Don't
now,
you get
right?
the impression when
No,
you can't handle a
it's
little leg that
No, that's
maybe
not-
you have no
no.
self-control whatsoever?
No, that's not what
You
I
know,
said.
like
I'm not talking about. We
I
haven't
can
reached.
see a woman walk down the street in a bikini. I see it all the time, in fact, because it's summer out here.
So maybe.
and
so
I don't
Richard,
go rape them.
Sure, let's look at the stats. Who has more rape statistics, the West or the Middle East and Muslim countries?
Well, who has more rape statistics? The West
Yes.
obviously does, but
Yeah,
we have more
West-
statistics in general.
Okay, good. Okay, good. No, but
We
there's
don't know what's
statistics
going on in the
and
Middle
all in
East.
this. Oh yeah, we sure don't. So in this
Oh, we
area,
don't.
just look, Richard, because you tried to play it off. Now we're gonna talk numbers. In the West, 95% of women report. This is in the UK. 95% of women report that they've been sexually harassed at least once in their life. Is that right, Richard?
I imagine that is correct, but we
Good.
need to talk about the definition.
One-
What is
one
that?
sec,
Someone
one sec,
slaps their
hold on.
butt or something,
whatever-
or someone
whatever-
actually rapes them. I mean, this is
You can include all of those things. If
Well,
you
but-
compare that, just Richard, let me finish, brother. If you compare that with Muslim societies, it's not even going to be close. Now, Richard, are you going to stand here and tell me that the way women dress has no bearing on that number?
I
Please tell me.
I think it does have bearing on it, but I think
Oh.
it might even go in
Okay.
the other direction.
Good, man.
I can't
So-
believe you're putting forth like Middle
Thank you,
Eastern
Richard.
societies as
So thank you.
paragons of.
Yes, they are.
feminism.
Actually. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We could talk about that. You wouldn't.
There's a
you wouldn't
lot
stand a
of
chance.
social problems in Middle Eastern
Check this out,
societies
guys. Look,
that
got
I don't
lemon
wanna
juice
go
right
into
here.
because it's a
We
bit
And we got some
rude.
Pepsi
Before
Cola
we go into that, you
made with real
conceded
sugar.
that a woman
And what
who
we
shows
do
her cleavage,
is we put a
even
little
if
bit of
it's
lemon
not
in
fully naked
make
or
Pepsi
she's not a
Twist.
slut, like you said, this
Right.
causes societal harm. You conceded,
No, I
brother.
didn't concede
Thank
that.
You. Yes, you did. You
No, I
said it
didn't.
caused. You said it
I
causes.
think it causes much worse harm
Good.
to.
It causes more harm.
I
Put a
think it
little lemon,
causes
see?
much
Little
worse
lemon.
harm to put a woman in a burqa and demean her
how
like
does it-
that.
how does it-
I
how does
think
it cause more-
sensuality
with
in
real
society-
sugar,
Look,
Pepsi
How does
Twist.
it
like
cause more
salt
societal
on
harm?
food. Food is terrible. It's bland without a little salt. Put too much salt, it's
Oh, wow.
inedible.
Yeah, so that's what
So,
women.
yeah, it's
for
a
you
matter of discretion.
Women
and
are
taste.
food.
Women
I think
for
a
you,
lot of Arab men, why there are some many
Richard.
different social problems, including homosexuality, is because they don't have that natural,
Richard.
sensual encounter
Richard,
with women.
you just admitted,
So true.
Richard, that
So
your view of
true.
woman is it is public ownership. You publicly own this woman. They need to be
Now that's
salted a little bit
class.
so you can devour them with your eyes, Richard. So
These are
the
good
view
debates.
you have of women. They are
I mean, you
public
sort of
property.
poetically.
No, they are public property. You deserve to salt the women that you're looking at so you could devour them. We respect
that's
women.
not what I
We don't-
said.
Yeah, that is what you said.
And
That's
there is
the
a big-
analogy you
well,
gave. That's the
The
analogy,
analogy
you
I
gave, brother.
gave is sensuality
Salt
and
the woman.
assault. And salt. No.
Salt the woman,
Salt
brother.
and sensuality are the analogs. So
So bro wants
put
to
a little
assault women.
salt
Huh?
on a steak, it's wonderful. Put too much, can't eat it. Sensuality.
Bro
in
wants to eat
society,
women. Bro's going Army
a little
Hammer
bit
mode.
goes
Huh?
a long way.
I
It
told
makes
you guys
everything
we're
wonderful,
gonna be
makes our
Apollo.
lives joyful.
We're gonna
If
worship
you
Apollo
have
and eat
too
people.
much,
For who to
it
taste?
becomes vulgarity
For
at
who
some
to
point.
taste? For who
Yes,
to taste?
because we have taste and discretion,
No, no,
because we're
Richard,
adults.
I said for whom to
You know,
taste.
there's some movies
Not answering.
that that I'll allow my children to watch that I wouldn't have let them watch just a year ago. You can sort of get
Greatest
you can
story
get a
never
little-
told.
Can get a little darker, a little more dangerous. Maybe when they're
He
3,
wants
they
it
should
dark.
only
He
be
wants it.
watching
Richard
cute
wants it
cartoons.
darker. Dude.
Maybe when they're
Richard.
10,
Bro's a Leonard
they
Cohen
can watch
fan.
something that might have a little tragedy or violence to it, so that they can have that experience. It's called taste and discretion. It's not an
Richard.
all or nothing thing where we can't. And there are certainly things that
Preacher,
I
man.
watch as a grown man that I would never show a 10-year-old. But I
Well,
can
okay,
watch
good.
it and I can experience it because I'm an
Good.
adult
So-
and I have discretion and taste.
thank
And I can
you- thank you.
understand artistic
you.
representation.
Thank you for agreeing.
I don't
want
want
to
to live in a society
Thank you.
where
Richard, let
everything
me
is
talk, man. Come on, you're
puritanically
going
defined.
forever,
We've
brother.
done that as Westerners.
Richard, you just admitted that women dressing that way is not good for kids on the street to look at, right, Richard?
It didn't say that.
Richard, you just said there are some movies that you don't let your kids watch. Richard, why is that?
Yeah, well, I would there's death in Star Wars, but they can handle the way that it
Can
is
they handle-
represented
can they
in Star
handle-
Wars.
Can they handle
can't
it?
handle it in the way that it's represented in
You let-
the Texas
you-
Chainsaw Massacre or something like
Do
that. You have distinctions
Brother, you
that
just
you
never
make in a
answer
society. This
Richard,
is
you never
merely a
answer questions, man.
preference.
You
I
literally
want
never
a
answer questions.
society that is more sensual and joyful.
You don't- you don't
It's
answer
fine.
questions.
It's just merely an
Richard,
assertion
Richard,
or a preference. We'll
do you-
just disagree.
Do you allow your kids to look at half-naked women in movies?
Half naked in the sense of like wearing a bikini. Yes.
Wow. So you think kids
Wow,
should be
yes.
walking around looking at women with bikini?
Well, they did that just yesterday when we were at the beach. So
Oh, man.
yes.
All right. So Richard here wants a society where kids look at bikini photos, and when
Bro.
kids or when men look at his wife.
100%. There's nothing
wife and
better than a
daughters-
beautiful woman in a
So-
bikini walking into the
good.
ocean or lake.
So-
I can't imagine anything
Good.
more beautiful.
Good,
Actually.
good. So Richard, you have no problem.
And
if,
I don't want like I
Who
don't wanna
invented
live in a
bikini?
society where that
Sneako is the best
impossible.
moderator in the
Yeah,
world.
so
And
you-
men
Who
are
invented
so
bikini?
repressed that they might actually be more inclined to engage in
Good.
violence
What about?
because they can't get
Good.
anything.
Thank you. I'm glad you told us that, Richard.
Islam
next-
also bans
Richard, just wait,
representational
man,
imagery.
Come on, brother. You just keep going, brother. I want to ask you a question.
Hold
You
on.
also-
We've discussed the bikini
Oh my
thing. I
God.
have said
You
my
just-
point. Okay.
Can I talk,
Do you think
brother?
that art should be representational?
art?
Yes, the
What's his
Mona
art?
Lisa. It's a representation of a woman done sensually. Do you think that is
No,
haram?
I don't.
or-
No, I don't think that portraits of naked women should exist anywhere.
Didn't say naked women. I said the Mona. You know the Mona Lisa, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe
I
you
don't.
don't.
I don't think portraits that are contrary to Islamic law should be public. No.
Is in Sharia law is a representational image verboten or forbidden?
Verboten.
if
Sorry,
it
I forgot you're
clearly
not
is,
German like
an
me.
image of life. If it's an object that has life in it. If it's a lifeless
it's
object,
forbidden,
there's no
right.
problem. Yeah, because that would lead to idolatry.
You can do and I guess does an apple have life or
No.
no? Okay, so you could do a plant, but you couldn't do a woman or
Yeah.
Got it.
So are you trying to imply that the
You've
bodies
invented
of women
bikini.
are art for you
Bikini
to
is
look
Jewish.
at?
in a way, yeah.
What the flip is going on, brother?
Yeah,
So,
I'm
brother,
a terrible liberal. I guess.
Richard, you are
I also
actually,
think
thank you.
the idea
Thank
of
you,
get
Richard. Richard,
yeah.
you can You actually changed my mind about you today. I came into this conversation thinking that you are alternative right. You are the guy. You're extremist. You called for, that Haitians should be enslaved, but really you're just a liberal inside who wants his woman to be looked at by people like me and enjoy her. Do you want us to enjoy your wife, Richard, by looking at her?
This is where you
There
just
is a
kill somebody, dude.
distinction between
Go
sexual
citizen
intercourse
vigilante
I didn't say
mode.
sexual. I said by looking at her.
admiring someone with your eyes.
Should I enjoy your wife by looking at her?
You can enjoy my wife by looking at her. I don't
All right,
know.
man. I guess that concludes that, brother.
I wanted to ask one
Thank
before
you
you go
so
on to
much.
another subject. Could you,
Thank you so much, man.
Richard, you were saying that there's a line. Is that line, is that vague? Is there a gray area? What is that specific line if you're against the hijab?
It is, a lot of times the line is blurry. A woman can wear a bikini in a way that's sensual. A woman can be out there and it's a little too much and it's bordering on vulgarity, even if she doesn't show her nipples and vagina. So yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult one, but like pornography, that's the definition of pornography from the Supreme Court. You know it
Facts.
when you see it. We live in a society that is far too vulgar for my taste in terms of the way many, not all, but many young people dress, in terms of what's acceptable in music, etc.
So how is
But
that
I'm not going to
fixed?
then say that we need to ban it all, or that like you can't go to the opera and enjoy La Traviata because it depicts sexuality. I think we
You
should,
can do that.
as
Of course you can go to
adults,
the
be able
opera.
to make distinctions
That's right, Richard.
like this.
We need to go to
Yes.
the opera, dude.
Okay. And your ideology is based on the idea of Apolloism. How would you define that?
Well, I mean, we want to recenter the Western world on Roman religion. And we want to
It's
break
so insane.
ourselves
It's
out
so awesome,
of
dude.
Christianity.
It's
most
such a crazy thing that
immediately,
never will
but
happen. It's
Abrahamism
awesome.
more generally.
Are you a pagan?
And yes, I'm a pagan.
So you believe in the gods of Zeus and the old Roman
I
traditions?
believe in them in the sense that I think that they are archetypes of states of being, virtues, and even racial and ethnic archetypes. And into that
That's
extent,
so awesome.
I believe in them. I don't believe in them in the way that a Christian believes in Jesus, in the sense of he actually existed, or I'm going to hell if I don't put my faith in him.
Okay, and I'm not trying to, put you in a bad light, but you started off by saying you weren't a white supremacist when you were asked. But this seems like it's the supreme ideology, and this is how the world should be. Why did you answer no to that question?
Boom.
Well, when they say white supremacist, it's a bit of a slur, and I would rather just sort of define what I believe. You can call it whatever you will.
Okay.
But also, Sneako, he said that he doesn't think his ideologies are stance independently true, which means that he doesn't think that his ideology is true. He just thinks that it is a preferable for him, but there's no reason that anybody else should adopt it. That's what he thinks.
So is that comparable to white Zionism in a sense? It's like, do you look at Israel and think that this
Dude,
is
imagine
something
doing this on a
that
Friday
white
night,
people
it's awesome.
Should, however you define white, should emulate?
Yeah, it's funny. I talked about this. It must have been 10 years ago, if not a little bit for longer ago, where I gave a speech about how immigration is sort of over. The America has already been transformed demographically, and we should start thinking about big ideas. And I used Zionism as an example of this. The Jews had been scattered for some time through an ideologue, much like Paul.
What?
In this case, Herzl.
Oh.
They came up with a strategy, a movement, and a geopolitical plan to create a new homeland. And I don't think that anything I'm doing is directly analogous. It's not like, oh, we're going to do Israel, but for white people. It's no. But, can you see some inspiration there? Can you understand what he was going for? Sure.
Okay. Do you find that to be reprehensible, what Israel is doing? Or you said earlier that morality is gay. So where do you get your ideas of good and bad?
Where
How
do you
did
get your
arrive at
ideas
this
from?
conclusion that
Richard,
Apolloism is
where
the
do you
way?
get your ideas from?
Right. Well, I'm being a bit flippant when I'm saying morality is gay, but what I mean by that is that
So
very
where do you get your ideas
oftentimes
from, Richard?
people who are in a weaker position, who are sick or themselves, will make recourse to morality, in the sense that if you're a little mouse being attacked by a bird of prey, the mouse might make recourse to morality and say, "Oh gosh, that's so immoral what you're doing to me." Morality is itself a kind of weapon that can be used against other people. I don't think there's an objective morality outside of survival. But that's not exactly Christian morality. I think Christianity was given as a gift in a way to Europeans, as a way of weakening them to a great extent, as a way of confronting Rome and offering a different way forward for Romans and et cetera. And as a sort of like bad conscience in their mind that could always be called upon. It's evil to be strong. It's evil to dominate others. It's evil even to be great. You should be like Jesus. And I do think that we need to rethink these moral systems that the Abrahamic religions have given us.
One
I
more
think
question.
it's good to be strong. I think it's good to dominate. I think it's good to be the best. And it's very bad to be weak or ill or soft and so on.
So
I
without
hope you just want to add something right quickly there before you go. That is not a product of Abrahamic religion. That's a product of Europeans adopting Abrahamic religion and then moving away from Abrahamic religion principles. Because dominating and all those things are biblical, polygamous marriages and all those things.
Right.
When Europeans adopted those things, they stopped practicing them. Just wanted to mention.
Don't
that. Go
you
ahead,
think
Sneako.
that morality is embedded in, say, the Sermon on the Mount?
Just one second.
I get it, I know.
Sneako was going to say something.
yeah, the Enlightenment
Yeah.
era and European
Yeah.
expansion, this was adopted, and they used Christianity as a tool of empire, but it wasn't authentic to the teachings of Jesus. No, not at all.
What I would say about Gazans or Palestinians in general is that, like, look, you can call upon morality, and it works with me. In fact, I genuinely feel sympathy for victims in Gaza. I am not.
Bro's a good guy.
I've never supported our relationship with Israel. I don't support Israel now. So
Bro's just a good guy.
I get it. I feel sympathy. But the question is, do you just simply want Westerners to feel sympathy, or do you want to win? And if you want to win, you're going to have to be more and more evil. I mean, those liberals
maxing,
who
huh?
are now, crying tears over Gaza aren't going to get you any closer to having a state. You're going to have a state. You're going to have to
You gotta go
dominate.
citizen
You're gonna have to kill
vigilante mode.
people.
Nigger, nigga,
You're going to have
Negro,
to be
Nogger,
more
Negro
and
sent
more
$15.
evil. So there's just
Thank
a
you.
limit
for those
to the kind of crocodile tears I can
permit
cry
right here.
over morality. It's like, yeah, I don't want those children to die. I don't want those buildings to be destroyed. I don't want those lives to be ruined.
Permit
But,
denied.
I've also...
Permit denied.
I
Thank
have
you.
things to do. Like, if Palestinians want to win, they're going to have to, like, move beyond this victim morality of, like, because I suffered, I deserve a state. Or I deserve a state because, democracy good or something. They're going to have to discover something evil in order to create something good.
I think the objectives are different. I think the Palestinians want to survive. You're saying you want to win. What is winning?
Winning is worse, and it's not merely surviving. It's dominating and expanding. It's winning.
Okay, and you said that morality is subjective, and that you don't believe in objective morality. You said being strong is good, which is a byproduct of morality.
Thank you.
How did you arrive at this conclusion? No? So how do you know what's good and bad without a
You're making us miss Richard, dude.
There is no objective reality to morality. Morality is all subjective. It's all in our minds. Things aren't good or bad. Thinking makes it so. We value something.
Thank you for the great donation. Great donation, thank you. I'm trying to find out what the king of Apollonism is saying.
There's no morality in nature. The morality in nature is kill or be killed, reproduce, dominate, conquest, expand, etc. So,
Something about that?
yeah, morality is totally subjective.
So I would disagree. Morality cannot be subjective because there are phenomena throughout human history that must be explained. For example, what explains a phenomenon, the idea that people that are isolated from one another, are culturally and socially independent from one another, all seem to have the same pattern of conduct
Is this
and same conclusion. Why is it that, for example, all humanity throughout time has concluded that it's wrong to murder?
facts?
You think they just came up with that and it's just a coincidence that all cultures across human history, okay, so then it stands independently true and embedded in human nature.
Well, it's sort of embedded in human nature. Humans have no problem murdering other people. They have no problem murdering enemies.
Thank you, I appreciate
didn't
that.
say
They
it's a
engage in
problem.
murder of one
N-word,
another
N-word,
in a civil
N-word,
war.
N-word, N-word.
But
Thank you.
yes, we have an evolved sense of, to murder one's own child is maybe like the most shocking thing imaginable, in fact, because of our like deep kinship there.
Oh, brother.
Now, murdering an invader, someone from another tribe, that's
Yeah, but-
great.
but
That's heroic.
brother, but that's not
No,
murder. Brother, but that's not murder. Remember, you're conflating killing and murder. Murder is defined as the taking away the life of an innocent soul. And invading external entities
It's
not
the
an
same thing
innocent
as
soul.
killing, dude.
So I'm not talking about all of that. Okay? What explains that all these cultures throughout humankind, isolated from one another, culturally and socially isolated and independent from one another, all come to the same conclusion: killing innocent lives is wrong. What explains that?
I think he disconnected. Or he's back.
Bro's done.
Your
I
mic's
think
off. There you go.
web browser just went out for some reason.
My web browser went out. Let me talk
You
about
hear my question?
Apolloism.
We're talking
Apollo
about like, murder versus
smiles
just
upon this
killing,
debate,
right?
No, that's not. No, not versus. I'm saying, how did all these cultures across human history that are isolated and independent from one another, culturally and socially, come to the same conclusion unanimously that killing innocent people is wrong?
I don't think we've ever actually believed that. We
What?
learn to not kill people within our group so that we can have a functioning tribe.
We
And
could
that
do
is
so-
an evolved behavior. But in
okay,
terms of killing other tribes, we're evolved to be
Yeah.
killers.
yeah, so that's just simply not true, because we could look at what ancient Romans did, ancient Indians, ancient Chinese, ancient
Yeah, they
Japanese,
killed a
ancient
lot of
Indians.
people.
No, brother, I'm talking about murder, brother. You stop conflating it. So you're saying, oh well,
okay, I just
let's
said,
just
are
look,
you
brother.
making a distinction between
Brother.
killing and murder? And you said no, and then
I said, no, I
now
said
you're
we're
saying
not,
yes.
I said we're not talking about what the distinction is, because I assume you already know it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm asking, it is evident and clear that ancient peoples didn't think you could just kill someone because they're from a different tribe than you.
Well,
You really, is that what they believed?
well, there was a lot of conquest. I mean, we are
My goodness, I'm not talking
descended
about
from the people
conquest,
who
Lord.
won.
Dude, I am not talking
Keep that
about
in mind. The pacifists,
Yeah,
those
this
are
guy-
not our ancestors.
Brother,
the pacifists were
brother, are
ground
you-
into dust.
Brother, can you track?
We're
I'm not
descended from killers, brother.
Brother. I'm
Come
not
on,
talking
brother.
about conquest.
Brother.
Because then
in
it's not
us.
murder. I'm not talking about conquest. Not talking about
So
war.
you're okay. Hold on. Define murder means like I go and kill my neighbor in the middle of the night or something.
Yeah, something like that. The taking of the soul of an innocent person.
Right.
Did ancient people cross-culturally think that just because somebody is different, they deserve to die?
Well, you brought in difference. I'm going to ignore that, and I'm just going to use the example of I just go kill my neighbor because I just want to. I have bloodlust.
Why is that wrong? Did they
Why is
think
that
that's wrong?
Because if
No,
It's
not
not.
why is it
people-
wrong? Not why is it wrong? Did they think it's wrong?
Yeah, they did think it's wrong, and then they
All of-
thought it's wrong for a very long
Good,
time, long
good,
before
Good.
the Abrahamic
So now,
religions.
what explains the unanimous agreement, although they were socially and culturally isolated and independent?
Right. Because the people who had too much sadism and bloodlust destroyed societies that were not successful and died out. Or those people who had the genes for sadism and bloodlust, they just wanted to kill their neighbor, kill dogs and cats, etc. Those people were executed by society as criminals. And so they did not pass on those genes to the extent that they would dominate society. If we're all killing
They were
our neighbors because
executed-
we love murder, then the society
God.
is going to break down. But if
They were-
if you have a consensual relationship with teamwork where we can kill the
No,
other
brother.
tribe, then you're going to win and be successful.
Brother, that's my point. Why?
But it's just
is it-
evolved behavior. You
No,
see,
brother.
look,
No, brother, just
piranha
let me respond.
don't eat each
Let me-
other.
Let me respond to you, brother. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say there's a given tribe. They agree, let's not kill each other. We need to survive.
Right.
But did they think that just because they come across somebody from another tribe, they can kill them?
Yeah, often they did.
Okay,
if we're
what's the-
honest, like
okay,
we're talking about like
all right, so now-
prehistoric
so
man.
now-
I mean, yeah, sure.
yeah. You're just making. What's
But
the
no,
evidence?
but look, think
What's the-
about this.
What's the
Like
evidence?
Priana,
No.
Priana,
What's the evidence? Evidence,
I'm
please.
using
evidence.
fish. So these
No.
are like our deep
Not
ancestors.
talking
of
about
vertebrates.
fish. I'm talking about moral
Fish have
agent.
morality, brother.
Lord have, brother. The whole point is that I'm
Piranha
talking
won't
about
eat each other.
moral agents.
Hold on,
What fish? I'm talking about human beings.
Dude,
I don't think we're moral agents. I think we come up with morality as
I
justification.
know.
for acts.
That's my point. So my
But let
point
me
is,
let me just make this
no,
point.
you actually don't know how to have a
Piranha
conversation.
in a river,
You don't
they
know how to
will
have a
not
conversation.
kill one another. A piranha does not eat another piranha, but they will eat other animals. So they have morality. You see morality
God.
even in like very, very old species of
Brother,
vertebrates.
Brother, that's
I mean,
my point.
insects have a morality in a way. What that morality is
you
what
just
is the
keep
best
going.
way
You're
to
not addressing-
reproduce.
You are not
and-
addressing my point, Richard. That's my point. Fish do that. Animals do that. Humans don't. That's my
But
point.
we do.
What? Okay, prove it.
Well,
Show
I mean,
evidence.
The
Show evidence.
Man's
No, 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 stop.
inhumanity to man needs
Show
no
evidence.
proof. Look at
No, no.
Gaza.
Show evidence that
Boom.
ancient
Better pull the
humans
Gaza
from ancient
card.
India, ancient Japan, ancient China, ancient Arabia thought that just because you're from a different tribe, you have to die. You should
Well,
die. Show it.
they might not have said that, but in terms of ancient humans engaging in warfare with competing tribes, I mean, I'm not sure.
Dude,
I
I'm
need to
not talking
prove
about
this.
warfare. Oh my
Well-
God. Warfare is not murder. It's
Well, it
killing.
involves
Huh?
bloody murder, killing of innocents, no doubt.
Dude, you're like,
And it's
your
and it's
IQ
not. You can't. It's an
brother, your
bloody
IQ
murder
has
is an
gotta be-
indispensable component of warfare.
Brother, I'm telling you, brother, you gotta have like room temperature IQ at this point. You can't even track a conversation, brother.
No,
Can't track
listen.
the
First off,
conversation.
brother, I don't appreciate the insults, and I've not
Yeah.
insulted you this entire time.
You have. You
Right.
said I'm an extremist.
Well, okay,
I'm an
well-
extremist who looks at women.
Well,
who
you
wants
kind
to
of
rape.
are, brother, but I
You
meant
said I'm
that
an
as a
extremist who
compliment, I
looks
guess.
at women and wants to rape them. You said that about me earlier.
What?
So don't. Yeah, you said I'm an extremist, but when he looks at a leg of a woman, he wants to rape her.
I didn't literally say that. I said
Oh
that.
my God, that's what you said.
I don't
dude.
want to pick nits. All I'm
Let it
saying
begin.
is I don't want to nitpick here. All I'm saying is I haven't called you low IQ or anything like that. So
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
just-
appreciate
Oh,
I don't
it's okay, you don't have
appreciate
to
you're doing
appreciate
that, and I so let's just not do it. All right. But
No, that's fine. You don't, and I don't appreciate you saying I'm an extremist who wants to rape women when he sees their leg. I don't appreciate
Well,
that either.
okay.
But
Yeah,
here we
let's
are,
not
right?
do the insults because this was getting somewhere. So
Yeah.
why do you feel sympathy for the people in Gaza, the children, if Israel is just protecting their nation, right? If they are looking for their own, why is this incorrect and why is this bad?
I have nothing against Palestinians and Gazans. I do feel a natural empathy with fellow men dying. And so I don't want it to happen. There's no need for it to happen. I have no grudge against Palestinians. I wish them the best.
Okay.
Oh, good guy.
But it sounds like, maybe I'm incorrect, that you would like this for, you want the spread of your nation with whites. It sounds like there's some sort of comparison.
Whoa, there's some sort
we
of
might have to do evil things
um,
when we're creating an empire. We've certainly done that before. But it's not, Israel, Jews and Muslims fighting, it's not really my concern.
Okay. So yeah, I think we got to some concluding point. If there's any final questions that either party wants to ask.
Well, yeah. So I'll just maybe have some concluding remarks. I appreciate the conversation with Richard Spencer. Obviously, it got a little bit heated here and there, but that's expected when you're arguing about topics that are fundamental to one's worldview.
mm-hmm.
I do appreciate you being here. I appreciate Sneako for hosting this. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a pleasure discussing these things. We went through several topics. Forgive me if you felt insulted. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best remark to say. I also felt disrespected earlier with what you said, but it's okay. It happens.
Yes.
It happens.
I've forgiven your remarks, and I would echo what you said. Thanks for inviting me on here, Sneako. And I would say, Orthodox Muslim, you do bring a breadth of knowledge, and I think you are a good faith actor. And that is one of the highest compliments I could give to someone who is an ideological opponent. I think you're acting in good faith, and I think you have studied this extensively, and I respect that.
Thank you, brother. You as well. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate people willing to have these discussions. A lot of people don't want to, and it's important. And this is free speech. This
Discussions are very
American
important.
Values, right? So thanks to both of you coming on, and I would also like to interview both of you individually at a point. I'll text you privately about that. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye. Salam. All right, how was that? I thought that was great.
Who won? Big Richard
I thought that was
or the
great.
Muslim?
Who